Hey, hey, hey! Welcome, everybody. Welcome. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. Got a couple special guests in the house. Well, we got a special guest in the house. We'll be talking to him in just a moment. But I wanted to say hello and welcome to everybody. Make sure that y'all, as you jumping on, you sharing this out with somebody who needs to hear it. All right. And trust me, you want to hear what this gentleman has to say tonight, and much more is going to go down as we go live now. Um, Welcome, Sheepdog. How you doing today, brother?
Sheepdog is muted.
Yep,
Uh-oh.
yep.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
There it
There
comes.
you go.
Are you working on that side, Sheepdog?
Uh, yeah, where I'm at.
All right.
I'm
How you
doing
doing
good.
today, man?
I'm glad to be here. Glad to have Derek join us tonight to share with us a little bit about himself and what he's got going on. And everybody's super excited about the video he released. I think it's awesome, and I'm glad that we're the first show that he's decided to jump on. Appreciate it, Derek.
Amen to that. Thank you. Absolutely. I am. How you doing tonight?
Great, Mike. We got a lot of stuff accomplished today. It's been a great day for news and one thing or another. But I want to give my personal welcome to Derek, and I'm glad he's here.
That's awesome. Uh, Derek, if you may not have recognized yet, but off to your right of your screen, you should see comments and private chat. If you'll click on comments, you can see all the comments coming in on Facebook. A lot of
Oh,
people sending
there you
love
go.
to you there, man.
I'm sorry. I had it on private chat. My bad, guys.
That's okay. Nothing to be sorry about. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Derek Johnson with us tonight. The young man had a video that he decided, at a spur of the moment, he was going to break bread with a friend and share with people that they were talking to, once and for all, in a way that they could understand it. And boy, did he ever! And the passion that he displayed and the love for his country and his service and the decision to serve. And when he did, he went full out with it, guys. He didn't waste any time. He as he described it in the video, he made sure that he knew what he needed to know to help serve his country, and every bit of it came across in love and light. And it was a great video, and it obviously went viral this weekend. And here we are. Everybody, welcome Derek Johnson. Derek, how are you doing today, man?
I mean, I'm trying not to tear up right now, honestly. So, but I'm doing pretty good. It's just I feel like like I told you, I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. But I'm prepared for, you know, my blueprint. But other than that, the emotional side of things, I'm just sitting here, just looking at all these comments. I'm like, oh my goodness, like so. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So, Derek, let's go ahead and toss it out there, man. Let's go. Do you mind giving us a recap of the stuff you shared in your video?
You want the auctioneer version or the slow version? I mean, which one we going with
Just
here?
have fun with it, brother. We'll
Oh
take it
yeah.
either way you can get it.
Well, it's always hard to think about where I want to start with things, but I guess what kind of I wouldn't say word trigger me because I'm not a triggerable person, but I got a buddy I talk to every single day, and it was just he and I for the last year and a half, and we'll text every day, and he'll go, what's the news today? And I'm like, man, it's not a news every day, and he knows I'm not picking on him I know he's watching, but it's like it's not. You got to get this 40,000 foot view up here, and you got to come up here at this altitude, and I've got the blueprint that you got to read, but I cannot make you read it. So it's always one of those things where it's like I can't make you read, but I've put this blueprint together, and my motivation was really more the fact that when I served in the army, I didn't get to serve as long as I wanted to. I was injured, severely injured, only with like 2.5 years. And so I didn't get to serve as long as I wanted to. And I lived with a lot of uh, depression. I went through a lot of, my family went through it with me. I had a lot of depression. I thought I was a failure to my country. I do have some things that I will reveal later, maybe, that happened to me that some of it's still classified per se, but I'll get into some of the stuff that was around it that made me wake up too. But, I just had I felt like I left something on the table, and I felt like that, I know I gave it my all in uniform, but I also felt like I left something on the table. So I had to get through a lot of emotions and things like that. I went through a lot of rough patches from 2015 to about, well, I was telling you on the pre-show, about November this past year. Ironically, it wasn't that long ago, I became a Christian. I feel like for the first time in my life. And so from about 2015 to November last year was really a lot of moments in my life where I didn't really know where it was going. And I had moved to Nashville, and I'd done everything by etiquette, standard, and protocol to that industry. And it seemed like nothing I did via the right ways were seeming to work. I shattered these 2 country music records and Billboard records, and 95% of country music don't know me. And it's like I'm holding these records, and then I'm going down to a general in Murfreesboro that I know. I won't call his name right now, but I go down to him and I'm like, can you get my DD-214 changed? Can you get this RE4 code changed? He's like, man, it'll take an act of Congress. And I'm like, aren't you a general? You're almost like, and he was like, no, man, they've made it a lot more strict. And so I couldn't get it changed. And so I was kind of floundering around. And then all of a sudden, this memorandum came out by the Department of Defense. And I was looking at it, and I went to my mother and I was like, this thing was written for me. I'm telling you right now, this was written for me. And then I took it to an attorney friend of mine who was a captain in the military. And I was like, man, this thing was written for me. And so we started exploring it. And while they were exploring that, I started looking at, I'd been reading all of President Trump's executive orders. I was already following those. I already knew what he was doing, because every single day he was the most transparent president in United States history. It was on TV every single day. And after I put all the blueprint together, I realized they did all that on purpose, because no one else could have an excuse for him being on TV every single day signing an executive order. Every single day he was somewhere visiting somebody or speaking to some crowd. It was the most visual. So when I started reading all the executive orders, then I went back and looked at what happened to me. I was in some environment where even my own sergeants don't even know. If they're watching tonight, it'd probably be the first time they knew about it, but they always wondered where I went. Like I was always pulled out. Okay. And then there was a lot of weird stuff that was going on. I had to sneak letters to my mother. And I got some letters out to a guy I'm going to reveal in a minute who is pretty awesome. You all know him. He's a white hat operative. And so he was one of my liaisons kind of deal. We're going to my general and trying to get me into a warrior transition unit when I was in the Army. So, and I never could. It kept getting shot down, post general. And so I never could get in a warrior transition unit. So I'm going back. Obviously, sorry, crowd. I'm going back to my Army days. So I'm mixing all this in to show how I got my blueprint. So I went back to my Army days, and I realized, okay, there was a lot of stuff that was not supposed to be United States military, which is what I preach all the time: Marbury versus Madison, 1803. So it don't just have to be the appearance of law either. It's all the people that are around it. If people are not upholding the law, that's the whole reason you raise your right hand in the military, is you swearing under the Title 10 of the Constitution. So the Constitution I talk about is not the Constitution that you've been knowing about the last 150 years or more, but it's the Constitution of our founders. And so when I started putting all those pieces of the puzzle together, and I realized what happened to me, I was in a situation where it was kind of like a friendly fire, and it was like they were trying to get rid of you on purpose. What civilian is going to believe that your own people are trying to get rid of you? But I think it had something to do with white hat operative Jeff Sessions. And so, anyways, he was one of my guys that was trying to get me in a warrior transition unit. And I did. I think my mother's watching tonight, which I'm not going to say a bad word tonight. So I'm going to try not to. I always say that, and I always do somewhere. But so I was talking to my mother and things like that when I was going through what I was going through. It was only she and I. She's the only one that knew what was going on. I lost my train of thought real fast. As I do that, that's why I lose my numbers. But so Jeff we were trying to get to a warrior transition unit. And when I went and looked at what was going on with the friendly fire situation, I started going back to Obama's executive orders. And those are bone chilling. And that's why I'm always saying you got to read. You got to read. You got to read. There's nothing else you can do but read. And that's going to solve all your answers. But when you go back and look at Obama's executive orders and what he was doing with court martialing and what he was doing in Syria and what he was doing with the Arabian Republic in his executive orders, he was writing all this in executive orders that, okay, this is what we're doing. Well, if you're a Christian or you know anything about the Bible, in the 6-Day War with Israel, when they regained their statehood and declared themselves state, I think it's how you pronounce it, statehood, something. Anyway, but
that's good enough.
Yeah, the 6-Day War, they took possession of 1 million Arabs. So 1 million Arabs had to denounce from their religion, and they took possession of 1 million Arabs. So that should tell you right there, anybody who hears that, when you read those orders from Obama, that he was not for this country. Okay, so when here I was serving under him, and here I was having some friendly fire situation kind of things, and then I got out of the Army. I'm not going to tell the full story there. So when I got out, I went through this depressive state, and I started looking at what was going on with me, what happened, memorandums. I started looking at medical memorandums. I started reading the AR 670-1 again. I started reading I just drew a blank on the Army medical codes, but I read that book again, and I was trying to find a way to get back in if I could. So reading those made me stumble across all of Obama's executive orders. Then I started reading Trump's executive orders, and I started pairing them together and going, okay, these are daylight and dark difference. And so when you read, you don't need every Trump executive order. You don't. You only need the ones that you saw visually go into action. And that's my blueprint, is that's what made me so upset. And I wasn't upset with my friend. It was so much that I've had so many people in my inbox that I've tried to help that I'm like, okay, if you're a United States veteran, like these guys are here, if you're a U.S. veteran, okay, then you the people, and I'm not talking about the fans here, but I'm talking about the ones that don't know what's going on. You have to convince me and them why all of the guys in the memorial graves, and also, like I always point here, this guy right here, my sergeant here, you have to convince me that they served under military law and died, and tell me why they did not die in vain or why they did die in vain. Because if military law don't mean anything, then they all died in vain, and we all served in vain, and we all took a chance. Me and everyone here, we took a chance of dying the same way. We took a chance of dying in vain, because if military law doesn't matter, which is the very premises of our foundation, like I said, I guess I can get on my rattle trap here. June the 14th, 1775, the Army. Okay, June the 30th, 1775, the first 69 articles of the Constitution. The Navy, October the 13th, 1775. The Marines, November the 10th, 1775. So there you go right there. Where's the Declaration of Independence? It ain't there yet. Where's the Constitution? It's not there yet. So your founders showed you right there that they made military precedent in this country first. And they also have written out there that they wanted a swift army of the sea and a swift army on the ground. So borders were their number one priority. They knew if they didn't secure a border, that they could never sustain within, period. So they secured the border, and then they fought within. And that's why I made my point about the Declaration of Independence. So to declare, they wrote it in June, and June has a major significance, but they didn't pass it until July the 4th. So it just happened to pass in July the 4th. But
can I add to that for you, Derek?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, it passed in July 4th, but it didn't make it to the powers to be, in other words, London, Great Britain, until August the 10th.
Right. Well, and then so, and then you got the declaration. Then I get on my high horse on this, and I don't want to be real controversial, but at the same time, when you got a football player kneeling on the ground and he's verbally getting on national TV, and he's got a special forces guy on there saying, "Oh, I'm here for his freedom of speech" and all this bull crap, but you got a guy kneeling on the ground, all right, and saying all this stuff about the flag. Well, that's when I'm gonna go, okay, well, all right, Marines, sorry, Navy. Air Force, you guys weren't even there yet anyway. Sorry, guys. But, okay, the Army, June the 14th, 1775, also Trump's birthday, that's the man upstairs making all that happen in the bigger picture, June 14th. Okay, but June 14th, 1777, the flag was sworn in to Congress, and it first flew at the Battle of Oriskany or Fort Schuyler. Okay, but the Battle of Oriskany, like 51 days later, in one of the bloodiest battles of the Revolutionary War. So sorry, Mr. Kaepernick, you can stand up now. You're not a good football player anyways. Sorry, fans out there, he wasn't. So, but 51 days after it swore in, okay, and you're going to tell me that the flag doesn't represent the people? No, it didn't in the first place. It represented military first, and the people adopted it because the people were appreciative of what military did. And so I got on my high horse there. So I started putting that blueprint together, and I started looking at Trump's Executive Order 13848, which I think is probably the most monumental executive order, second to the Declaration of Independence, because that's one I've been getting questions about all week, and I would love to address that right here. I told some people, I said, I will address it right here. I will break it down for you if they let me, because I don't want to hog the floor at all. But
all right, we'll absolutely give you that chance, Derek. What I'd like to do right now is go ahead and let you catch your breath a second, because wow, man, you dropped some major knowledge already and bombs in there as well. So that's huge, and they're definitely loving on you in the chat, and we're loving on you here as well. But if you would play that motivational video for tonight, man, we can go ahead and get back down the road with Derek here in just a minute.
This should get your blood pumping.
Oh boy.
You got to put it up, Mike. It's in the tray.
I can hear destiny calling out my name. Failure and dreams both offering, but both offering change. Surrender offers rest, but I die for peace. Don't need your protection, don't need no shield. Now watch me bleed. Now watch me bleed. Now watch me bleed. Now watch me bleed. The winds of life are blowing. It brings doubt like rain. But I would roar like thunder, and I would storm like hail. A rising fall, protecting. Both offer change. But I need a bowl of lightning and embrace the pain. Embrace the pain. Embrace the pain. Now watch me feed. Now watch me feed. Now watch me feed. Now watch me feed. No. Now watch me feed. Now watch me feed. Now watch me feed. Failure is not an option. I will not just survive. Freedom is near. I choose to thrive. I will live full force, never on my knees. I will smash the door if I can't find the keys. I will not back down, I will not yield. Just like William Wallace, I need no shield. I am different, I am not the same. 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 I'm different, I am not the same. I am not the same. I am not the same. I am not the same.
There you
We're
go,
all
man.
warriors, Derek.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really love that. Thank you. Yeah, that was sweet.
All right, so Derek, you kind of dropped off talking about. You remember where you last stopped?
Oh yes, Executive Order 13848.
848. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You can pick it back up, man. I just wanted to give you a chance to catch your breath just a second. All right.
My mom can tell you I don't ever need that, but I do appreciate it. So yeah.
All right. Right.
But I, I've got a lot of questions in the last couple of days, and I've been trying to get to all of them because it's been a good overwhelming. I've been prepared for this because of being in country music, and we were hoping it would happen in country music. I never dreamt it was going to happen like this, but which is fine. I love this. I'm probably more passionate about this because I wouldn't be in country music if it wasn't happening. What Army? So, but I've had a lot of questions, and I've tried to tell people that, I say, look, if you can learn law and order first, and I'm not knocking anybody. I know I said a few things about certain platforms. All I was saying is if you're someone who cannot seem to grasp what's going on, then I've got a blueprint that is just as simple and it gets straight to the point of what's going on because we're a nation of law and order. And I always joke, go get a speeding ticket or whatever it is that makes you prove to yourself that, yeah, we are indeed a nation of law and order. And why did we have a hit TV show called Law and Order? I mean, it's like people see it. So everybody I've tried to talk to up till 4 days ago, before all this whirlwind that's happened to me, before, when I was just having, my phone has been dying so fast because the notification lights is draining it. So that's how it's been. So I talk to people every day that, like I said, my buddy. And so, I try to tell him, look as an attorney does. They skim over stuff. They look for keywords, and those keywords can tell you exactly what you're looking for because you can overthink a lot of situations. But Executive Order 13848, there was a fellow, and I'm trying to remember his name, but anyway, it was just earlier. I said, I will address that for you if I get an opportunity. So if you go look at Executive Order 1348, all right, September the 12th, 2018, all right, you look in the first paragraph, which is very critical, very important. On the very bottom line, it says, I declare a national emergency. I, Donald John Trump, declare a national emergency. Okay. Well, then you got to know what a national emergency implies. Okay. And under federal law, a national emergency must be addressed by that sitting Congress, not today, which was now, 4 years ago. I mean, that's hard to even comprehend, but not this Congress, not Congress 2 years down the road, not Congress 10 years down the road. It was supposed to be addressed by that Congress. They didn't address it. Okay. They knew what was going on, but this was also a covert operation. So I try not to, I'm trying to tell people just based off where they're sitting and hold off on the covert operation stuff first. So you got this order, you got a national emergency. Then in the second paragraph, people said, I don't see November the 3rd in there, and I don't see maritime law. And so, some guy, some other platform said, we're supposed to be in common law. I said, look, maritime law has nothing to do. Look, it's real simple. First off, in the second paragraph, it says on election day. Well, what day is what day was election day? It's just right there in front of you. That was November the 3rd, 2020. So there's your November the 3rd, 2020 right there. All right, there's a simplicity. Okay, then after that, when he in the paragraph there, he did some 45-45s that would bring you up to another day. So the let's see, it was what question was it? The maritime law. Okay, you got to go way down, and most people ain't reading way down. These orders are boring. They're long and boring for a reason. Okay, you go all the way down in there, and it says no foreign goods shall enter the United States of America. Okay, well then you go look at your waters. Okay, you have a state maritime border, and then you have a United States maritime border. All right, well, you heard on the news, this is why you got to keep up with this every single day. You can't stop. You can't just pick up one article and be a politician one day or a truth seeker one day and then put it down. You got to do this every single day. Well, you heard that the ships were grounded at bay. You heard the ships were not entering the U.S. You heard Governor DeSantis in Florida saying, hey, come on around here, bring your ships over here, we'll let you in. You heard all that, but you didn't realize what was going on. Those ships have been at bay. They have not entered their berth. Okay, so you have to understand all those terms. Maritime law, admiralty law is the law of the water. It don't have anything to do with you as a civilian. It just says, hey, these ships are not entering the ports, okay, which is going to have an implication because of the food sources and the warehouses and the depletion of those. But it was all that's where the maritime law comes in right there, because it's the law of the water. They're not entering the maritime law borders. Okay. And then when you saw the National Guard activated, I mean, you wouldn't even really need all the other orders I was spilling out, except for knowing that he issued these national emergencies. He issued 2 more verbal national emergencies in 2020 alongside of FEMA that also did not get addressed. So there was all these national emergencies. So Donald Trump had no other option but to activate the National Guard of federal duty. And that's what probably made me the most pissed or mad and angry, was all these people and a lot of veterans and a lot of veteran spouses telling me that the National Guard, that the state governors have control of the National Guard. I'm like, for state emergencies only. The only person who can activate the National Guard to federal duty is the President of the United States of America. All right. And when you saw those troops leave their states and go into D.C., which we call a foreign territory in the military, and by law, because law says, U.S. law says specifically that it is not a city, it's not a state, and it has its own border around it. So when you, the people,
so Derek, I don't mean to interrupt you. So y'all, the military people who chose to know, knew that D.C. was a foreign territory long before this started coming out. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that I'm talking about the. Oh wait, ask your question again, because that's
all right. So
okay,
we learned about D.C. Okay, being a foreign territory when they first put up fence, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, you're saying the military people, if they chose to know that it was a foreign territory long before that, right?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Or yeah. They should. You should, as a military member, know that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Very cool.
Absolutely. And but you know, I didn't want to attack veterans, you know, because it's like you get on. I'm not attacking veterans, but at the same time, you know, you walk around in basic training, you got your little paper, and you know who the Secretary of Defense is. You're supposed to know who your Command Sergeant Major is. You're supposed to know who the Sergeant Major of the Army is on this little piece of paper. You know, so you're supposed to know. To me, you're supposed to want to know the very premises of your foundation. And I actually won a lot of military awards, history awards from the colonel, and also challenge coins, because every week at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, my colonel would ask a Revolutionary War question. And it'd be the same 2 or 3 of us raising our hands. He gets so mad. He was like, y'all don't want enough, you know, and look at all these people who don't want to know their history and don't want to know why they're going to come home in a box one day with a flag over it. And he'd get real mad about it. And he's the one that really motivated me to dig deeper. And I'm not saying you got to know every, you know, date out there. You don't have to know every war, the Revolutionary War. You don't have to know every war, the Civil War. But, you know, it's like we do have a foundation. And I think if you can filter through the things that don't really have to do with anything and just learn how the National Guard got activated, And then that's the angle I came at, was looking at the planes in the sky. And every single day, like today, there was a National Guard from Maine. Just a while ago, I was watching my live stream. There was a National Guard from Maine all the way down and probably like South Carolina. And there was one in Lincoln, Nebraska, over in Kansas. It's not secretive. You can get on the site, which is what I showed on my website. This is not secretive. If it was, they'd be flying blackout. So yeah, I think every military member should do that. And I was a little harsh with my words, saying stuff like disgrace and disgrace to this nation. But I'm just looking at it every day. I look at it from this standpoint right here, with why you have guys who pay the price, right? So, it's like you want to honor them. It's like you're speaking for them. And that's all I did. And I'm not the kind that bashes anybody, but at the same time, there's a finite blueprint to all this. And if you can't understand the Q and you can't understand all these other different things that do build into it, but just from the common standpoint, not common in a bad way, but just like my mother, she said, just be patient with me. I do want to learn it. Just be patient with me and be patient with people, because they have no clue what goes on in one day in the military, much less a lifetime or a career or 2 or 3, 5, 10, 15 years. So, I thought, well, maybe I can have power through mouth and through God giving me the strength to show people in everyday life that you don't need all this other stuff. Just learn this little blueprint right here and know that the good boys are in charge, and know that you witnessed a military funeral regulation, military regulation funeral service for Joe Biden by all grades of military. So it's exciting in one way, and it's also sad in another way that our country got to this point. But if we didn't get to this point, we'd still either be spiraling and worrying about where we're going. So we had to get to a point where, like that video showed, you just got to start throwing down stuff like the Marines commercial. While everybody's running away from danger, you got to run to it. And we the people, who is we the people? I met a guy, you talking about the military. I met a guy not long ago, a Marine, and he said specifically, that's out of my pay grade. That's people higher than me who make those decisions. No, it's not. That's where we the people come into play.
Wow. So we the people, guys, is we're tasked with. We don't necessarily have to be tasked with understanding military law, but it's great to know, because the more knowledge you have, the better ground you stand on. And I think Derek's message is coming across loud and clear to a lot of people, especially new people that haven't been, privy to all of the stuff that people that have been around for 4 and 5 and 6 and more years. And I first off, thank you, Derek, for your service, and thank you for sharing your message in such a way, man, that it is totally understandable. It's in layman's terms, in other words, because a lot of people will get on here, on platforms like ours, and you don't know what they said after they talked for 30 minutes,
Right.
So it's unbiased. Obviously, it's unbiased in the fact that it's for the love of God and country, and your family, and your how humble you are to all of that. And thank you for that as well. So, Executive Order 13848. Does it have a deadline date?
Oh boy, yeah, you hit me with the good one. I love that right there. So I don't even know if I got that in my video that day, but I can do it right here. But
Go ahead.
So what Mr. Mike's saying is that so in September this past year, this past September, Executive Order 13848 was set to expire, and the minister resident he extended that. So the puppet, I call him the actor, and I do quotations because I'm not going to give him any credit for even with his name. So I always put Biden there. But so he extended Executive Order 13848. So real quick, in layman's terms, I'll slow down. I won't be like an auctioneer. So why would a president, if we didn't know what we knew, if I didn't know what I knew, but especially these guys here, they've been doing this a lot longer than me. But if we didn't know what we knew, all right, and if Joe Biden was really president, when you go back to what I was explaining about the national emergency, okay, in the maritime law, and then the 4545. So those two dates in that executive order are very important as well, optically. Okay, 45 days on to November the 3rd, 2020 brings you to January the 2nd, 2021, which was 4 days before what the world thought they saw was an insurrection, which is not in the Declaration of Independence. There's no such thing. It says we, the people, have the right to alter or abolish any government that goes against its foundation and reset it upon that. So there's no such thing as an insurrection. So wipe out January the 6th right there. You automatically know that was a red date if you'd have been paying attention to what Trump was doing all with his executive orders. All right, the other 45 days on to January the 2nd brings you to March the 3rd, 2021. And in United States history, the original inauguration date in history was March the 4th. Okay, so President Trump also said along the way that what happened to the U.S. was equivalent to Pearl Harbor. Okay, well, that was an optic for you. An optic, he said it here, but it was an optic. Okay, he said Pearl Harbor. Well, what happened in Pearl Harbor? Well, you got to go back. Franklin D. Roosevelt was the last president to be inaugurated on March the 4th. Okay, he's also the last president to activate 47 United States Code 606, which is war powers of the president, which extended his powers as president in World War II. Franklin D. Roosevelt served 13 years, okay, 4 terms, 13 years. He would have served longer had he not died in office. So that there are powers of the president that can extend his power. Okay, so why would a president, if Joe Biden was president, why would he extend an executive order for 1 year that would damn, and I'm not cussing mama, but would damn his administration? Because the whole reason that Donald Trump would issue a national emergency and put in 3 and 4 sections of Executive Order 13848, an election fraud committee, which has those key dates in there, which ended up activating the National Guard of federal duty. Why would Biden extend that? That will null and void his whole presidency, because that's the whole reason why Donald Trump had to issue national emergencies and activate the National Guard of federal duty and storm the Capitol and see everything that you saw. See, you saw it, but you didn't realize what you were seeing. Okay, so once you can get back here and take all your opinions and your lifestyles out, because that has nothing to do with it. Step back here and breathe a little bit. You will see that you're witnessing the most monumental, historical, biblical, covert operation in world history today.
COVID-19. It's in the name.
Absolutely.
Who's the commander in chief, Derek?
Derek, also, who's the commander in chief? Yeah.
Who's the commander in chief, Derek?
Donald
Commander in chief. There you go.
Yep. That's a fact. You can fact check that, I promise you.
Yep. So
you can even ask Alexa. Alexa will tell you.
Yeah. So I like how you described taking that 30 or 40,000 foot view of January 6th, because if you stand back and you remove your emotion from what you're seeing, and you take that quiet, still view of it from above, you recognize things like Ashley Babbitt was an act, was all an act. It wasn't real. The police, you see things like the Capitol Police were letting them in. They weren't breaking in. You see all kinds of things that you even see the covert operation going on for the Pelosi laptop,
Well, and then the rotunda doors. They're the most secure doors, and they've been secure all this time. Well, they have to be unlocked from the inside. Right. So the security guy from the inside had to unlock that. That alone should tell people right there the rotunda doors have a lock on the inside. If the lock was on the outside, you'd have a lot more people in history trying to break in. A lot of trolls and people like that. So that should have told you alone right there that those people they didn't just walk through this gate, but if women can't get the George Strait right, I know so many women that would claw George Strait down. Like if women can't claw him down, you think that they gonna get in the White House? if I got a man, she said, come on, like it's like you come on. I mean, you know,
Point taken, sir.
I mean, I don't know anything else. You know that I just anyway. I just like to put things in terms where people think like, come on, like look, you know. But
Come
Right
on now.
on. That's good stuff. Tracy, you mind walking Derek through a few questions?
I can do it. Let me get to them real quick.
All right.
All right, Derek, one question from Rob Grove. He's asking, why did you wait until now to release the information? It looks like you've been documenting this for many years.
actually, I wrote the documents. Let's see, February 2021. And I tried, you know, like I tried sending it. I even took a chance on like going through all my email list, like all my people, and added them to the documents. I put it in a total separate email that was like a hidden email where I was like this cool alias, right? And I started adding everybody, and that did, you know, nothing. People just think, you know, and I say people. It's just the people that I was communicating with. You know, they'd say, "Are you off your meds?" and all these other kind of things, and I'm like, "Well, I mean." You wouldn't want me to be if I was. So, but, you know, but I tried to get it out, but I never thought that. Let me just tell you the story of what happened just 4 days ago, because the reason why I'm sitting here right now, I promise you, if anybody's humble and if anybody is emotional right now, I promise you I am, because I wanted to make sure that I was on my game. But 4 days ago, my buddy that I talk to every single day, shout out Jackson. Okay. But my buddy I talk to every single day, he watched me grow up. Okay. And I know it's hard when you don't know what someone did in the military and you weren't there around them. You didn't see them. You don't know their DD 214. And, you know, but it's also our obligation. Well, it's not obligation, but it's my private privacy that if I don't want to talk about my military, but I try to just blend back into society when I got out, because I didn't get to serve 20 or 30 years like some people that I know. So he and I talk every day, and he believed it. Like he started reading and he's like, wow, this is awesome. I went and sat with him. I actually sat with him. I said, man, you ought to show this to your congregation. You ought to start telling people. And he's like, it's a lot of information. I can't relay it like you can. Well, he started trying to. And when his buddy started saying that he was, man, you're off your rocker and this, well, I said, I'll tell you what, this is what happened just 4 days ago. I said, I'll tell you what, just like that. I said, here's the deal. I said, I'm going to throw my pants on. I'm going to throw my shirt on. I'm going to throw my ball cap on. I'm going to ride up the road 5 minutes, and I'm going live because I don't have any data on my phone to hold that kind of video. I don't know how long it's going to take me to rattle this off, but I'll go live, and you can tag your buddies, and you can share with your buddies, and you can let them see me losing my gasket, because I said, I'm not mad at you, but I'm just frustrated that so many people, from a veteran's heart, it's this right here. Once again, it's always going to boil back down to that. From a veteran's heart, military law is important for that reason. And so I just, you saw what you saw. I mean, so I never dreamt in my life that I would have this platform, even though I'm prepared for it. I feel like that God prepared me. I will give all credit to him first. And I give credit to my family who has stuck by me. I've got a great family. And so they told me, I think if you found a way to get this in a short, condensed version, but also some passion behind it, but don't, like my mother said, be patient with people, because it is a lot of information. But I just honestly, Robert, I just never dreamt in my life that I would have this kind of implications and platforms. So it wasn't something that I was keeping to myself. I just never thought it would lead to this. But I do appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, and I'll keep telling you. So
Thanks, Derek. Okay, another question from Carol Ann Harris. She's asking, what would it look like to the military if we the people are not content with the foreign occupation? What can we do to have the military rescue us?
Well, I think right now, with the way things are sitting, that you're in good standing. Period. You just have to trust what's going on, and trust that the good guys are in the skies. They're on the grounds. June the 24th, 2018. The Military Times told you. It's in my documents. Not trying to take away from the show, but in my documents, June 24th, 2018, it said that the military would be fighting in mega cities underground, underneath them. So what I've told to Jackson and other people is this: the military didn't want Barney Fifes in the street, Paul Blarts in the street. They didn't want the good old boys out there that didn't know what was going on in the street. So you're okay as a civilian. We just want you to be comfortable and understand that you're safe. And so I understand gas sucks. I pay for the same gas. I pay for the same food prices. I see milk is $8 a gallon, and I love some chocolate milk. Okay, I'm going through the same thing you are. I totally understand that. But as far as the military goes, they're not going to have to rescue you. You're in perfectly good hands. I don't think it's going to come to a full-fledged open thing where you're like seeing World War II type stuff. So that's my opinion on it. Now that's an opinion question. So that's my opinion. These guys might know more on that than I do. But as far as what I'm seeing in the skies every day, air missile defense was what my MOS was, so a military occupational specialty. But from what I'm seeing and the type of what we call big birds, but type of aircraft I'm seeing, I'm not seeing that right now. But it just depends on where they're taking the mission. I wish I was a part of the mission. I wish I was one of the Trump's guys, but I'm not one of those. And these guys can tell you in war, The Art of War. You can get that book. It's a boring book, but it's a great book. But The Art of War, things change all the time. So from where I'm sitting and what I'm viewing, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. I think you should just trust the military, which is what my main message was. Trust the good guys. Know that Donald John Trump is your commander in chief, and that's by military law. So thank you for that question. I hope that maybe
Well,
they can
and
on that.
And
thank you
Derek,
for that. But I have to tell you, you're working for Donald John Trump, our
there
president.
you go.
Every word of truth that you speak, you are working for him. So you keep it up and keep doing what you're doing. The people love you, and we appreciate you, and thank you for your service again and the service that you're doing now. You may not, just because you're not active duty doesn't mean you're not doing a service. So thank you for that. The next question I have here, and I think Mike may be ready to take back over with you, but one more real quick. Does Executive Order 13848 expire, or does it have to be rescinded?
Well, it was extended for a year, September the 17th, 2021, which was pretty cool because that is the Constitution's birthday. So all of this it shows some optics there with that, the extension of it. So that would mean it would go to what? September the 17th, 2023. And what I've read and what I've studied, I've got like I said, the links to a lot of different sites with the Gitmo and the military tribunals. From my understanding, and the New York Times reported, the New York Times specifically said that military tribunals will start mid 2023. So September 2023, that's mid to me. So I think that we're going to be starting to see some good stuff here in the next few months, and we're building up. So you're going to start seeing some stuff. So I don't think you're going to see it extended again. No, and I don't think it's not going to be rescinded. The rescission would be you seeing military tribunals, in my opinion. But
I think
Okay,
a lot
you
of
for that.
people. I'd like to add that I think a lot of people, you don't need necessarily the executive order doesn't necessarily expire. What has to happen is they're given deadline dates, okay, and those deadline dates are like the one coming up on September 3rd. Now is they either show the evidence for the election fraud or it'll be destroyed. which kind of heats things up, doesn't it?
It's going to heat things up for sure. Like I said, because you know, a year in certain people's time zone, it seems like forever, but this stuff's going to move pretty quick. In my opinion, I think it's going to start. You're going to start seeing a lot more things. So,
You got something to share?
Oh yeah, you know me. I'm
Yeah.
sitting over here chopping at the bit. Okay,
All right.
so we'll go back to what Derek was saying. Me being down here, page. I was a staff sergeant, basically a drill sergeant in the Army. Okay, and what we do is we hand the chain of command to our new troops. They have no idea what they're getting into. They're civilians. They're coming off the street. So the first thing we got to do is educate them on the chain of command. Okay. So they have to know who the president is, Secretary of Defense, what these different Joint Chiefs of Staff, and want them to memorize these things because this is the hierarchy of the military, right? When you first come in, you're a brand new recruit. You have no clue what any of this is. You don't know when to salute the flag or when not to. You know, we have on a base, military base, we have flag ceremonies every day, and you have to stop. You know, and when taps is called, you stand tall. You know, at attention and salute toward the flag where the flag is posted on that post, right? And we go through the ranks, and from a private, from a buck nothing, E1, E2, E3, E4, you know, can change, but all the way up to general. And these are the big guys up here at the top. Okay. And thank goodness we got a 3-star general that resides right here that I just can't get enough of General Flynn. Okay. He's helped save this country and save this world. But I want to go down here a little bit, and I want to show you what we're actually fighting against. Minimize this. This is what we're fighting against, people. Okay. I want you to watch this video.
I'm sitting in my car crying right now over the loss of more lives, and this is what is about to drive past me. I'm sitting in my car crying right now over the loss of more lives, and this is what is about to drive past me. Oh God, I'm like shook right now. Oh, there's another one coming. There's a parade of them. I'm shaking. What is wrong with people? These are human beings. These are lives. Shook. I'm fucking shook. What is enough? What is enough? What is enough?
I mean, boy.
All right. Where
That's
does that
what
take
we're
you
up
to?
against. That's what we're up against, people.
Yes.
And you know, just not, you know, you got to know the left and the right. But if remember in the beginning, it was against the red hats. We put on a red hat. They went screaming out, you know, how dare you put on a red hat with "Make America Great Again" and be patriotic. This is beyond insane in my book. That, you know, those are military veterans. A lot of them driving those trucks and being patriotic and standing up for their country, and that's what people think about it.
That's well, Miss Tracy brought up a point today when we were talking on the phone that I just want to add 2 points in there. It's like COVID. First off, you know, if I'm being a country music singer, if I could drop one of these things in here, Hank Williams had a song called "I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive." So if you're focused on death, you probably aren't focused on living life because we don't know how long we got. So if you're focused on death, you ain't really living. And then 2, talking about General Flynn, we're talking about the chain of command there. Miss Tracy, we were talking earlier about, how what I don't know which rant I went on, but I did say that. I'm like, do you think that Joe Biden would name the 4-star brother of Michael Flynn to the commanding position of the Pacific Theater on January 26th? So for y'all out there, General Flynn was the general that the Obama administration, who was the vice president, slandered this guy, took his family through the mud, the muck, the swamp, you name it, just destroyed this guy's family, right? So you really think that Joe Biden would name the 4-star brother, not his brother in arms like these guys are to me, his blood brother, to the commanding position of the Pacific Fleet, which is all the hot topics that we're going through right now. So your Pacific Theater, that right there alone should give you chill bumps to know that Donald John Trump is for a fact your commander in chief.
And just because Flynn wanted the audit the 3-letter agency, they didn't want the audit. That's how much that come on.
Oh, and by the way, why'd you said that? In my documents, you're gonna love it when you see it. But just about 3 weeks ago, there was an aircraft flying and a call sign audit. Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love how many call signs are coming out. And boom,
A lot of times when there's a question we can't answer, we'll find a call sign that does.
Well, there was just three this past week with Gitmo coming out of South Florida near Mar-a-Lago, one of them. And then there was one the other day with Q in it all over it, like Q, like as the O was the Q. And I'm like,
right.
I'm showing people, I'm like, here you go, it's right there.
And again, just what you said, we haven't taken, if Biden was president, he'd have taken Gitmo down right off the bat. I mean, boom, he'd have made a parking lot out of it. He can't touch it. He can't touch the air.
That's it. The National Defense Authorization Act. He didn't want to sign that, and why did he sign something he didn't want to sign? If he's the president, ladies and gentlemen, he Gitmo with one stroke of the pen, like he just said, it could shut it down. Why hasn't he done it?
No, instead we've put another couple $1 million into it, built a press room, and added more.
$500 million.
$500 million.
That was the rant I did too. Like in December, this just past Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, when Santa was visiting your doorstep, when you were supposed to be naughty or nice, just this past December, you had the New York Times telling you that President Trump, in present tense, that they're expanding. So New York Times told you that the military tribunals will start in 2023, and you got all these other main articles telling you that President Trump in present tense and the Pentagon are expanding Gitmo. I thought Joe Biden was the president. Why is the New York Times and all these guys telling you in 2021, December? Well, that was a good Christmas for me. I don't know about y'all, but.
Right. Absolutely. So what do you think the next move is, Derek?
Me personally, I think they're going to arrest President Trump as an optic. That way they can get him out of the picture. And that way, when he's out of the picture, they can't blame Donald Trump for the military stepping in. So that's my personal thing. I think that with everything that's amped up, because you and I, we've been following these optics so much. All of us have been following those optics, that I think that's the best way. And I think that's what the plan was to make them damn themselves or make them hang themselves, that's the best way you want your enemy to fall anyway. Instead of a military hostile takeover, which the generals said they did not want to do from the standpoint of being judged on history by whiners like you saw there that he just played. Those people would never understand all of us moving in, because veterans would get called back more than likely, especially with the martial law, if we wanted to. So most people would not understand that. They'd be like that. And then we'd have to deal with that moving forward versus optics and President Trump. This is how humble President Trump was. Y'all have to realize he stepped back and let the military have control. and this plan. And so all these people who thought Orange Man bad and he's cocky and he's brassy and he's all that, no, you're going to find out the guy actually has a lot of patience and he has a lot of compassion for all of humanity. And he's going to be on Mount Rushmore one day. I promise you that. So.
And the real Orange Man is Joe Biden, Syracuse, right?
That's right.
There is an Orange Man bad, but it wasn't Donald Trump.
That's correct. That's correct.
All right. So, do you know about broken arrows, Derek? Scott is asking. He says speculation is that is the reason why there's been a holdup on everything recently because of broken arrows.
Yeah, that's probably out of my wheelhouse as far as. Let's see. Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah, broken arrows basically, Derek, is weapons of mass destruction, Pub K, those kind of things. We've gotten, actually, there's 4 now. We've gotten 3 of them. We're missing 1. We think it's on a railroad train running back and forth across the nation.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much I'd want to talk about with being AMD, but because I remember one time on base a missile went missing, and that was an ordeal and a half. But there's a lot of stuff that, yeah, I'm one of those that's brain dumped a lot of the terminology too, as far as, you know, like the broken arrow, thing like that. But other than that, I do remember a lot of those missiles. And that's bringing back that topic. I know I was a little shaky at first. I came out the gate and I looked like a bull rider who's never been on a bull, you know. But but getting back,
that's all right. You're all right.
Good.
Well, getting back on the friendly fire thing was back then. This was 2013. A general, and these ladies and gentlemen, these guys can tell you a general would not do this at all. But he looked around. He said, "I don't have any press or anybody nearby. I can say whatever I want." He did what I do to my mom. I say, "Hey, Mom, I'm sorry for what I'm about to say," but he looked down at the chaplain and said the same thing. And then he turned and said, "This effing president is going to get us all effing killed, and I'm not going to send any of you guys into Syria." I remember him specifically saying that. So there was a lot of stuff then. That was 2013. And I just saw a topic in the media. Just it was said Biden. There we go. Biden delivered airstrikes in Syria. We've been over there since 2015. We've been there before then. So, you know, it's just, of course, the media too, ladies and gentlemen, they're all optics. If President Trump can shut down broadcast and internet, he can control it. So that's just reading between the lines. So, but yeah, I haven't kept up with any of the missile movements and things like that, except for seeing articles like that, knowing what that meant.
Very cool. I mean that having the knowledge of the broken arrow, and talking about it just opens a whole nother can of worms to everything going on. You know, basically what needs to be said is, guys, is that there's one, they're still looking for, okay, and two, it's nothing more than the last effort the deep state has got. Okay. If they actually got their hands on it, you know, it's the last piece of the puzzle for them, or the last chessboard move. Last move on the chessboard before all 5D is a checkmate. Basically, we're letting everybody know that the end of the movie is real close, real close. And that we will start seeing things happen in the public sphere. We know that the order was issued to mainstream media. They got until Sunday. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, they got till Sunday. So what we're seeing right now, even the news coming out today, is optics of the shadow docket for the Supreme Court has already dealt with the voter fraud and overturned the election. So when you see all this news coming out, news unlocks the map, right? It just ensures that we're doing our jobs correctly by calling. We called the shadow docket, what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks
Yeah,
ago,
3-4 weeks
something?
ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. But now we're seeing the actual information come out, so we know the voter fraud was actually taken care of. We're seeing Mike Lindell stuff come out. I mean, they've already got all the data and the information. We know that the United States Post Office did the mail-in ballot. The Eagle sent the stuff to the mainstream media. Okay, on that night, on that fateful night of November 3rd, 2020. We know that all these three-letter agencies were involved. Now we know that FBI and the DOJ. We already knew that was happening in the background with Scorecard and Hammer, but we didn't know Montgomery was involved. Right? We didn't know the Montgomery software was used, or we knew the Dominion and the Scorecard were used, but and the Genie software was used on the machines. I mean, we knew certain aspects, but now it's all kind of coming together, and it's verifying the information that we've obtained over the years investigating all this stuff. And I think we're going to be pretty damn close on a lot of it.
I don't think I know. I mean, we're constantly getting downloads every day, and more and more of it is just connecting the dots. It's not just a gut feeling anymore. It's actually there in your face. Had you been looking for it, like Derek is talking about, read every word of the executive orders. He talks about earlier on here in the show. He talked about the Insurrection Act, how it wasn't needed, but it was invoked. And if you read the Insurrection Act, all 168 pages of it, you will see exactly what's happening. Okay, because it was it is. I mean, this has happened to our country before. We're on the second time of this happening, right?
That's right.
And everybody will be amazed also to learn that the post office is at the head of a lot of this. Okay, the Postmaster General. All right. When it comes to that flag and the Postmaster General, that's the club that started it all. All right. And for a long, long time, they had control of the Postmaster General spot. Well, all that's being changed now. Like Derek said, we're coming back to the original Constitution that the founding fathers created. Okay, because they knew there was going to be a time like this.
And you knew something was so dirty going on with the post office when they shut down the machines and the sniffers that sniff out the Amtrak. Yep. They shut it down so they didn't have the data. They didn't want anybody to see it and look at it. That's dirty pool. And they left our country vulnerable. I mean, we had the defense system, basically. It's like a military defense that, like Derek's talking about, on our borders. It's in our government, and they shut it down. Who's protecting us? If our own government can do that, please.
Absolutely. So, Derek, they're asking, do you have a website where your documents are so they can be read?
Well, what we're doing is I just looked today, how many people can you add on a Google Doc, and it says like 100. So now we're going to shift over to probably doing a PDF file. And because my thing is this, everything I wrote was just combining all of the executive orders in I try to put it in a chronological order as you saw things, and especially if you have a good memory and you can go back and read where you were in 2016 and the roasting of Hillary at the Al Smith charity dinner, and then all the optics that you saw leading forward, because all those show you what was about to take place. And if you can remember some of that, I put it in a chronological order. And so I'm not, when I said I'm not charging for my documents, they're now $100. No, I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. But no, but it's just, to me, it's like, that's what I felt God was calling me to do, is that it's here's these laws, and you don't have to look at a lot. If you really want to know what's going on, then start simple. And then once you can build you a foundation on law and order, which is what our foundation is, but that in your own personal life, learn my little blueprint. Then when you come in here, when these guys are firing away at all these optics and different things, you'll be grasped. I mean, you'll just be reading it just like that, where you'll know and you'll be like, oh, I saw that, man. I saw that article come through. I got my mother and some of the few that been following my documents so intact that when they see it, they're like, oh, I think I see what the optic is. So what we're going to do, I'm never going to charge for those. It's military law and order. And this is part of God letting me have a second chance to serve. It's service beyond my service. And it's me keeping my oath. And so we're trying to get those in the PDF, and that way I can just send them out. So what we're doing, I was on the phone all day today. I mean, I've been busier than Mike Tyson at a spelling bee. So I've been working, trying to get emails here and this, that, and other. So what you can do is email media@DerekJohnsonCountry.com. And I've got my team over there intercepting your emails. And then we're going to start shooting out that way right now, and of course, I'm probably going to have to go buy some data here. So where I can send that much data out, but I do want everybody to have it. And then
to help you with that real quick, man, if you'll get you and your team to go do a bunch of Google reviews, they'll give you that data. Okay. They'll give you that data. Okay. Google will give it to you. All you got to do is do some Google reviews. Okay. They're always giving you cloud space and data for doing Google reviews.
Well, my goal was just to get everybody to get this in their hands, and then I'll go live every day if I have to, because heck, I'm a retired veteran, so I retired at young, so I could sit all day and ran away, but I can answer away too. So that's the goal, was just to kind of be like Derek and his little minions, but in a good way. It's like, come on, Patriots, let's rile up here, learn this, and then you can learn the optics later, or depending on how quick you can learn it. So yeah, that's the goal. Is there's no way I did not realize I was going to get this many. I'm humbled and appreciative to be. This is my first show, so I did not realize. I mean, my inbox looks like Maury's hotline. I mean, it's like I'm like going to, are you the daddy? No, you're not. So I'm humbled, and so I've got my team over there intercepting those. And we're going to start, sending out PDF files. And so that way you have it tangible. So, yeah.
I'll be glad to have you on, and we can just do a recording of you going through them. And that way they'll be on screen once you transfer them to a PDF. And then that'll be a video you can pass around if you'd like.
And could we attach a PDF on the website?
Yes, we could. We'd be glad to put the PDF on the website as well for you.
Well, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I tell you what, the aircraft document alone with all the pictures is up to like 690 pictures for August alone. So,
right.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. All right. So a couple more questions, Derek, and then if you want to hang around, we're going to do some pool decodes. Is that right, I am?
We got that. We got tons. I mean, the world blew up today, so
yes,
in a good way.
Me and I am called each other, and all we could do was laugh. All right, so Derek, how much do you know about the tunnels and what has been going on for maybe centuries in the tunnels?
Well, I know about the tunnels. I don't know everything about the tunnels, but I do know about, like I said, with the blank. Like the June 24th article. And then I had some buddies that talked about some of the stuff in DC underneath. Of course, they couldn't really talk a whole lot because they were still active duty. And even though I'm veteran and whatnot, they just, we kept that quiet. But I don't know a whole lot about the tunnels as far as like the full details. I do know that I saw something one time with Iran. I saw one of the tunnels there, and it was enough to make the hair on the back of a turtle shell stand up. It was not something I would want to have seen in person, in the sense of I would have if I would have been called to do that. But that was very intense, seeing those big missiles under there, some of the nuclear stuff. When people have been asking me about the tunnels, I said, well, look, I don't know every tunnel situation. I know where a lot of them are. I do have diagrams of them. But I said, but based off the few things I have seen, I said, you should realize how close we were to the wrong people getting control, and this covert operation, and and giving praise to the people who stood up, like the generals and the colonels and different people in those high arts to go in unison. Because a lot of people don't realize, because I've had the main question I've had, even from my father, is, well, if this was a covert operation, why didn't they do this beforehand? Well, I'm like, strength in numbers. You have to have strength in numbers, and you have to also be in unison with each other. You can't have any kind of jealousy here, this, that, and other. You got to be in full unison, which also means you have to be called by God, because so many people, say, oh, I don't like this guy because he did this. And you can't be like that. You got to be, okay, we are no color. We are no religion. We are no everything. We are brothers and sisters, and we have a fight on our hands, and we have to get in unison and overtake this thing, or just be slaughtered. So that's what I've been telling people. But as far as the in depths of the tunnels, that's not something I've been around a whole lot, but I do know a little bit about what I've seen, and of course some of the bunkers that we have even in the U.S. and things like that just got corrupt. We let too many people. We got too lackadaisical for too long, and we let the wrong guys get in control. And it's real simple. 435 members of Congress do not control 335 million people. I mean, that math don't even make sense. So if you flip that and you think, okay, they work for us, but all these years we let the wrong people, the mafia, the cabal, and I know that's hard for people to comprehend, but you see it every day in your communities. You see murder, you see malice, you see things like that. So those tunnels do have some filth in them. And they've had a lot of corruption. I know that for fact. So
Very cool. Dana asked, do you not think that an arrest of Trump will cause a civil war?
Possibly, but then again, that's why the National Guard are all active right now. So I would encourage people, if that's the route they choose, don't get out in the streets and riot. Don't be the good old boy. You had your chance to go down to the recruiting station when all my buddies were begging you to come in. So I don't think you could see a few things, but I don't think it would be overall because so many people are so used to drama in this country. Drama. If I'd have listened to half the people that were in my inbox about coming on certain shows, and I'm like, what are you people reading? Like, why does that even matter? Things. We're a drama-filled nation, just like that girl crying. Has no clue the lives that have fought to protect her to be able to cry. So that's kind of where I stand on that. I know I'm getting I'm probably riling up over here. My boiling, but anyway.
Sweet. I agree with you, Derek. There's enough of us out here that are telling the truth now as well to avoid a civil war. In fact, it's been said so many times. I know we started talking about it earlier this year, and we hinted at it, and everybody scoffed. Well, they should, because we all love President Trump. He's definitely the best president we've ever had. We don't know if JFK could have been that person because they took him out early, and he's the one that started all this. That being said, there's some other things we could divulge we're not going to go into right now. That'll be for another show. But with that being said, there's enough of us out here telling the truth, and there's people like Derek who's coming along to fit in and help where we have a vacuum, okay? And he's filling the void there, which is really huge. He was a breath of fresh air to hear the other day on his video, and his rant was what I call it. And he brought the facts with him, and that was even more impressive. So there's enough of us that are out here putting this word out every day and fighting this fight and standing beside Trump, along with God and His anointing and His chosen ones, which we are. We're all chosen by God to be here because we're awake and we're kind of aware of what's going on, mostly aware of what's going on. If we don't know, we know how to find it now. Okay. But so it would actually add to Trump's popularity and his base versus starting a civil war. Is the way I view it, and it's the way a lot of others are viewing it as well. So with that being said, we also know Trump has a little flair for drama himself. You know, with The Apprentice, we knew he was on he had The Apprentice, and he was involved in some WWE stuff. And I have to believe that we're gonna see a WWE type ending in this movie.
I mean, come on, look. What's the ultimate? Look, I gotta say this. My mom don't even know what this means, so I gotta say this. What's the ultimate? What's the ultimate teabag in your face, but a military grade funeral service and a note that says, "Be careful for what you wish for." Come on,
come on now.
You know, come on now. Like, come on.
That's right. That's right.
Let me make a comment on the Civil War thing.
Okay.
Understand, people, that the Civil War is not going to happen. There's more guns, bombs, grenades, missiles, tanks, armament than you'd ever want to face in your life. And it could scare the holy hell out of you coming up at you, because I put on the shows for senators, congressmen, and foreign dignitaries, okay, and military generals. It is enough that they jumped out of the bleachers and took off running. They thought it was real. And that was the fake part, not the real stuff. Okay. Number two, those are your brothers and sisters in arms. They're our sons, our daughters. Okay. They're your neighbors, their family. Okay. Don't get involved. This thing is so well orchestrated and so under control. Going to arms now or doing anything, protect your family, sit back in your house, be calm and cool, collected, put your thinking caps on, use the logic and discernment, and move on. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene went to the door the other day without the FBI was there, but she put her pistol down and walked to the door in a swatting event. Okay. Think logically. You're not going to win. Okay. But you will win using your knowledge and your mouth. Everything that we've got, we can win this war with that. We've already won it with that in over 5 years. So that's what I wanted to bring to the table on Civil War.
Good job, man. Thank you.
Well, that's kind of like what I was saying in my rant the other day. Like if you just applied adultery from the military standard into the civilian sector, our country would clean up all. That's just adultery alone. So it's like I saw a guy post probably 2 years ago, and he was a veteran. He said, all right, civilians, y'all better get your crap together, because if they call veterans especially, we will get this thing over quick. You probably wouldn't even know what's going on when it happened so quick, because a lot of my MOS, we worked at night a lot, like in the middle of the hours. So while you're sleeping, things are going on. Like, so, you probably wouldn't even blink fast enough before I think one of my favorite colloquials that, my fans jumped on was, before a cat can lick its ass. Sorry, there's a word. Sorry. But that's how quick we would operate, and you, the people, wouldn't even have to, I don't think you'd have to even see hardly anything, but. Did I talk too much?
No, sir, not at all.
No, you're perfect.
Not at all. We're gearing up. Get your tray ready on the Mr. Pool stuff. I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
I get there.
Sheepdog, have you got any questions or any conversation you'd like to add?
No, she's doing good. I just wanted to make sure that we got that information, that we could pass out on our Telegram channels as well, so everybody can get it. So that'll help with everyone emailing him.
Yeah, absolutely.
All at once and bombardment. Yeah, if we can get that taken care of, that'd be cool. And then, what is your message for the people? Okay, here's one thing. Have you done a photo comparison of Joe Biden, Derek?
Pretty. Yeah, I think I think I became a comedian with my comparison of Joe Biden and the actor. So,
Right. But you've actually compared the photos, right? Of the one from under as vice president versus the one now, right?
that's correct.
Why is it so hard for people to take a second just to make a simple photo comparison? What is it? Is it holding them up? Or, I mean, is it, what do you think the issue is?
You know, without being a whatever to people out there, I don't want to, like I said, my mom said, be patient, and all these people, you know, like, just be patient with people. And I'm like, but I can't have too much patience when you can't look at a detached earlobe and an attached earlobe. Like I don't know where we are in society. When you look at Joe Biden, all you got to do is just go to Google, communist Google. You can go to DuckDuckGo, communist now. You know, you can go to some of just the communist sites. You can go to the whitehouse.gov as we speak. That's what I was doing the other day when I was trolling the White House. The whitehouse.gov, they have the attached earlobe as the main picture. Scroll down, you got the detached. I mean, it's just things like that I'm like, okay, you either need to go check in with an ophthalmologist, okay, or you need to have some Coca-Cola them Coca-Cola thick glasses on in order to see this one, his detached earlobe. He's got like a shadow there that you could stick your head in and talk to ET in, like, and you know, like it's, and the other one, the attached one, looks like a raw oyster. You know what I mean? Like it's going to need a lot of mustard and horseradish, and like it's just, I don't know how else that's what I told my mother. I quote her a lot because her and Jackson are the only ones I've been able to talk to about this. And I'm like, look, how can you not tell? How can you not tell? You know? And then the Joe Biden, the actor, the back here looks like Billy Ray Cyrus's future when he's 85. It's like, is that the new mullet style? Is it just, it's just certain things you can look at him and go, how do you not see these two guys are completely daylight and dark difference? It's like when I smile, I know that when I smile, that's what I look like. My top teeth show. So when the Joe Biden vice president, he looks just like that. Now he ain't this good looking. We're just talking about the teeth, right? So the actor Joe, it's the polar opposite. It's certain things, like you can get plastic surgery. Yeah, you can go do what Kenny Rogers did, God rest his soul. But you know, you just peel back. But this and this and these, you know, I don't know. I don't want to pick on people for being blind in that sense, because I know we're supposed to be patient, but they're daylight and dark difference.
How can we get people to unite moving forward?
Well, I'm going to be, you know, I'm the kind that's going to sit on my picture. I'm going to get on live every day if I can now, and just keep showing every day the same thing. So you have to read. You have to be willing to read. You really do. You have to be willing to read, and then be able to step outside of your comfort zone and understand that the America you thought you were in, it wasn't from what you were seeing. But you do have the good old boys who are stepping up, and we're not going to let it falter. These are the reasons we're not going to let it falter. They're not going to die in vain. That's the very first line in my very first article. If you're going to tell me that this covert operation that I'm witnessing is not real, then you got to convince me why they served and didn't die in vain. So, you know, and that's where I stand with that. And I think it's just communication once again. But you know, I can't. What my blueprint, I couldn't go to house to house to house. So I think maybe God did call me where I can have a platform and to be able to get to the masses this blueprint, and then go, okay, here's a PDF file. It shouldn't be of charge because these are just straight up law and order. And you just have to read. You just have to be willing to read, and don't be afraid to ask a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So just be willing to ask, and you know, don't be scared to ask anybody. And two, real quick, sorry, but I'm that guy like that. I try to answer everything. I know I can't answer everyone, but I'm not going to be the guy that just lets you hang in the comment box. I'm trying to answer everything I can, so I'm not going to leave you hanging. So
Well, I appreciate you offering up your time and assistance and serving your country once again. It's an honor to serve with you, and God bless you.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor too to be your brother in arm, and I got your six. So
I got you, brother. And that's how you unite, move forward. That's how you do it.
that's correct. You just that's what I tell people every day. You got to put your differences aside and see the bigger picture of this. You just have to. I had it. I don't know how much time we have here, but I had a guy that asked me a question in Nashville one day. He's like, "Man, what's race like in the military?" He's a black guy. He's like, "What's race like in the military?" I'm like, "You talking about a foot race?" He started laughing. He's like, "No, man, like me and you, black and white." I'm like, "Well, let me do what Democrats do and flip the question on you. Let me answer a question with a question." And he started laughing, and he's like, "Man," he's like, "I said, well, let me ask you, if a gunner, if a guy with a gun came in this restaurant right now and started open fire, I said, would you want me to bypass you just because you're black?" Because I said, if I didn't know what to do, I sure would want you to get me out of here. If there that that situation popped up, he just started. He's like, "Is it that simple?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's that simple." I said, "Anybody who serves knows it's that simple. Like some of my best friends are Hispanic, black, gay, straight, Buddhist, atheist, you name it. And they're the most patriot loving people. So I think we have a disconnect sometimes with people, the way you grow up. We have so many cultures in the US. But military, we're a bunch of different cultures. We all pick on each other. We all love each other. We all hate on each other's football teams. But the greater purpose is the future of your children and to pass it forward. And I think that's probably the most important, the way I look at it anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right, Derek. Welcome to jump in whenever you see something. Want to say something? What we're going to do is we're going to break down these, decode these Mr. Pool posts for everybody right quick. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we start off this evening just before we come on air, sitting in the back room with Derek, with 3 drops. And I put the other one in there because it kind of leads into what he's talking about here. Nearly, boom, impossible. Okay. So the timestamps was 8:19, 8:19, and 8:24. Okay. So we want to go through, and I'm just going to, I didn't have time to rip these off because, of course, we're all busy. 8:19.
All good, brother. Sheepdog, you read for him?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, sir.
Whenever.
And that, let me get it. I got to move this.
I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Go ahead. So let's do backwards first because I got 9:18 up here. This is North Korea missile test since November 20,
Yeah, it's
2017.
right. It's a tweet from Donald Trump. North Korea has not conducted a missile test since November 28th of 2017 and has promised not to do so through our meetings. I believe they will honor that commitment. And it goes on to say, I swear Trump is killing me here. Ha ha. He keeps putting out clues. He has already talked to Kim. You are learning how many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible. Wait until you learn who has been talking to you here, Q.
All right. So go backwards, basically 8:19. And this is a very long post, but phase 2, no coincidence. No coincidence, expand your thinking. Okay. So, all right. I want to go to the next. Let's see if I got it up. Oh, Okay. So nearly, okay, this is everything that comes up on nearly. Okay. Analyze North Korea. Standard Hotel, Adam Schiff. What is AS attempting right now? Favor repaid. You know. Okay. So let me go back to the picture. Why didn't it go? Okay. So that was nearly, right? Then we come back with boom and then impossible. So I just want you to remember that. We go back to here and I go to the next one, boom. Boom's en route tomorrow, right? This is not a drill. Boom. Week ahead. Treason doesn't pay well in the end.
Sure.
Yeah, I got several more to go through, but yeah. Boomerang. But there's just so many. It's just a plethora of stuff that's coming out. And when you see my 4-year deltas and stuff on the Q post, you're going to find out why we can get excited now. So let's go back to the drop, and we're going to do impossible, right? This all had to be impossible. Could never happen in our lifetime. That's why it's such a great time to be alive. We were here and decoded this from the beginning. Okay, and impossible is timestamp 824. Okay, let's just go to Q post 824. Bring us up aboard. Bam, bam. 824. And I think you're going to like this one. Comms off 2. Okay. That's not the part you're going to like. The other side is. Pound, 428.
428.
Oh, shoot.
Yep.
Missile tech guidance cap is SpaceX tech. Methinks via Obama possible. Go ahead, Sheep.
Amenity Q. Why is EM provided big worldwide subsidies? No subsidies equal clown contribution in exchange for access code. Why is this relevant? Amazon Echo, Google Home, clown contributions, Apple Face ID tech, Facebook Face ID tech. Catching on, bombs away. Q.
All right. So what's happening in the news right now? Oh, they can't launch a rocket to the moon because it's got a gas tank leak. What if they couldn't get to the moon anyway? You know.
I think it was struck by lightning 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
From the
Sure,
footage I
right.
seen.
Yeah, 824. Okay. So we go back to our boards, and I think it's here. That was 830 for the bridge. Bridge 2, talking about London Bridge. We know Operation London Bridge is in effect right now. Big subsidies worldwide.
And we're talking about the CIA right there.
Yeah.
The clown.
There's impossible. Okay. So you go search the Q boards for impossible. If you know, I mean, there's so many things. Was the 25th Amendment arrow in the quiver planned? How long ago? Right? Impossible to unwind. Calculating lag near impossible. Remember the 1 minute deltas? They were President Trump and Q were trying to get in sync to be 1 minute apart, right? When their drops would come out, and nearly impossible. That was what that was about. How they give us timestamps on Durham and the 1010 Mickey Mouse clock and how these all 88022. I mean, they put it in your face. It was going to happen on that day, right? The raid.
Well, the other thing too, real quick, is the just in layman's terms for everybody, if you're still kind of struggling out there, but I said it in one of my rants the other day, was the fact that, I mean, at military times, this was just a few weeks ago, told you straight up, especially if you're a veteran, you follow military times. I know a lot do, but it said specifically that the military transfers all communications to the Space Force, where it would be under one command. So you're talking about communications and things. I mean, it's right. Like you said, we're getting close, because when you transfer all communications to one command, well, that's Commander-in-Chief Donald John Trump, which he was already there anyway. But those are optics for you out there, that this thing's ramping up along with all these Q drops. So just thought I'd add that in there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. So here I want to bring you back to ground on the 40-year deltas, right? Look at the date. 8/27 was yesterday, or day before yesterday. Okay, big puzzle piece. And
Big puzzle piece. Who is systematically arranging the leaks to select individuals? Why is this important? To drop Gil Braggett's prior to Barack Obama's testimony. Q.
boom. All right. Another. I'm just moving up in the dates. This is 28.
Amen, Q. For those of us who have stayed the course for 20 plus years, we have gone alone. We have stood firm in the defense of the truth, yet many of us very few friends and couldn't do much in the real world. The penalties for speaking up for truth have been severe for decades, and I've lived life in the shadows. It wasn't worth speaking out until now. Thank you, Q. The world is now united. History books, fake news suppression creates a false reality. This movement is bigger than you can imagine. Silent majority, no more. Q.
That to add to that right there, guys, is that when they say this movement is bigger, you have to think about the years when Obama was president, and when and then Trump in the beginning. They were in the streets hating America in several Middle Eastern countries. And we all know who those countries were. They were hating America.
Iran, especially.
Well, by the time Trump finished making his rounds and renegotiating trade deals and setting all this stuff up in the background, they were in the streets loving Trump, carrying an American flag instead of stomping on it and burning it. And then, you know, we were allowing Antifa and Black Lives Matters during that time that they were celebrating America and Trump in other countries. We were allowing them to take America down here in our own country. So it's saying that it's come together is monumental, and that we're silent no more, because we see American flag burning now, we do something about it. We just don't film it and share it on social media. Okay.
Right. Q post 1972.
Bigger than Watergate, biggest scandal in U.S. history. Crickets, fake news, desperate to shelter, define shelter, a place giving temporary protection from bad weather or danger. Q.
Speaking of Watergate, I want to add that in there. I put that as an optic, that August the 8th, President Trump gave y'all a big optic out there. He said, when he was talking about Mar-a-Lago, he mentioned President Nixon. It was on August the 8th. Well, what date is that in history? That's when President Nixon stepped down. That was a big optic.
All right. I think you're going to like this one.
Which is
1978. Q-Post 1978.
Post 1978. Big statement. What's coming? Q. Why is POTUS pushing the FBI and DOJ on this issue? What if access to the servers were deliberate? What is this known within the intelligence community? What if this is known within the FBI and DOJ? If known, why no action? How might this discredit the FBI's investigation into HRC's emails? How might this open the door to the Wiener laptop, maybe? Puma? HRC? Logical thinking. Why was the information on Wiener's laptop in the first place? Insurance. D5. Q.
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
It's
Well,
all connected.
I mean-
Let me break this down for them right quick.
Okay.
It's all connected, guys. Wiener laptop, okay? They did the same thing to Biden's laptop as they did for Wiener, okay? They got it and they kept it. They didn't disclose it or investigate it. All right. Before they got it, we know of 2 New York City police detectives that died over it, and several others that were in their car puking and quit being a detective after seeing what was on that laptop. All right. So here comes Hunter Biden's, whose stuff on his laptop is even worse. And they knew if that got out, or Human Abedin and the Human Abedin and HRC videos got out as well of the child satanic ritual stuff. Any of that would keep them from becoming president in optics, in 2020. All right, it's all tied together. But the big score here is that why is POTUS pushing the FBI and DOJ on this issue? Because they're guilty of doing these things to cover up and to keep the election from happening the way they wanted it. All right, it's all tied together. Go ahead.
Look at the date, 8/29. Today's date, 4 years
Wow.
ago. Okay. Now we bring in this little ditty. Trump demands either new election immediately or make him the rightful president now. Okay. You can't make this stuff up. So, anyway, I'll move on. But that's a big win for us, guys. Big win. 19. All right.
Yeah, the deep state probably will arrest Trump to try to shut him up, because they do not want this getting out.
All right. Anybody want to read that one?
What are the odds that the FBI and the DOJ are right on top of this? And it's a Twitter post from Donald Trump.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be funny. Let me get there to get to the video. So who got walked out of the FBI building today? It's Mall Cop, right?
Yeah.
And this guy, give you a couple pictures of him, but we got a video. Dang it. Where he's talking about if you see voter fraud called in to the FBI agent, in the FBI department. On it.
So these are the agents that are also in covering up the child trafficking stuff.
Oh yeah. Same ones. He's drawing them right out in the public sphere. It's so cool to watch and take this apart. You know, holy bat nipples. Man, let me find the video tag on it.
I'm still in that.
Because when you find it, but it's a Q post. It's like, holy crap, Batman. Anyway, I can't.
That's funny.
Where's it at? Dang it. I just got so much stuff for today. It's buried in. I got a big folder for today. I mean, oh my goodness, this folder is huge. But I can't find it for right now. Let's move on. Because it gets better. We got more stuff. So 2026. So this starts tomorrow's stuff, right? So guys, keep your eyes out for things that are going to happen tomorrow. The whole world is watching. Punisher.
Boy.
Oh. Okay. So. 2026. I got 2039.
Is Twitter still down?
I don't know. I didn't go look. This is really good. Okay, 2039. So we got a flag marker for today, for tomorrow, or it's actually 31st, right? The flag marker is our points in time, and something big is going to happen, right, on that day. Okay, so Q's telling you ahead of time. Okay, today's the 29th, right? That 31st could be lit.
And it says
Where
we,
yeah, go ahead.
Where we go one, we go all. We the people, from sea to shining sea, let freedom ring. Patriots, it is your time. If America falls, the world falls. United we stand. God bless you all. Q plus. ODJT.
Boom. Okay. And then my last one, I could do this all day, but
Guys, there's also the flag marker is important because they want you to stave off of paying attention to the dates and pay more attention to the event.
So also on the 31st, do you believe in coincidences? Enjoy the show. There you go. All right, that's my dig for Mr. Pool Stuff. Hey, how you think? How'd you like it?
Is that a question for me?
If you'd like to answer it, anybody, I don't care.
I was just making sure. I was like, I'm seeing all the screens, and I'm like, I thought that was mine, but
yeah, go ahead. Answer
information right there. And
it's right in front of everybody. I mean, it really is. It's there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's just things like me and you. This is my first show, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm humbly honored to be here. But think about my rant just 2 or 3 days ago. I was saying, hey, we don't need any Paul Blart Mall cops, and look what picture he showed.
Synchronicity.
I'm sure that wasn't the one thing he picked. Oh, he said Paul Blart. Let me make sure to do that. I don't think that happened like that.
No, sir. Absolutely.
That's why they say
That's good
enjoy
stuff.
the shows.
Well,
that's good stuff, man.
I was talking to my mother about. I said I got on. I said I'd tell her about your show, and I was telling about being on Charlie Ward's coming up, and or no, it wasn't Charlie yet. It was another one. Captain Kyle, I think, or some on Telegram, and I'm like, is this real life? Well, then I was telling her what we're fighting. Again, who are we fighting? Who are we rooting out? What kind of rats are we pulling out of their holes? And who are we flushing out of the holes, flushing out of the tunnels? And I said Antifa and BLM. As soon as I said that, you can't make that up. There's a sign on the side of the road, BLM. It was an attorney. It says BLM matters, you know, and I'm like, that you can't make that up. Like that time and me saying that on the phone, driving through the country that I'm driving through, you know, you just can't make that up, like, to me. And that's not a coincidence. I think you're muted.
Yeah, you're right. Normally at this time we do like closing statements, Derek. But the audience is asking for you to talk about Biden's inauguration.
Oh, well, that's the one I really love. Like I said, I love. I have a dark side of humor, and then I have the side that's serious. It's like I hate we came to this in our nation, but at the same time, if it had to be like it is, I think it has. I think it's ending perfectly to reset it on its foundation. I believe Donald Trump pulled the ultimate troll move you could pull on anybody for the sake of military, because military, as my brothers here tell you, we're colorful, right? You don't want to take us to too many family get-togethers because we can really say some stuff that makes the Kool-Aid and the punch not seem so punchy, you know. And so, but I always start with Donald Trump first because it's just such an ultimate troll move. Plus, he should be first in everything outside of God. So Donald Trump, this is why I feel like my calling was to say, it's like, okay, the military is very important for these reasons. The military, like I said, it's always going to be about the guys who gave it all. And we always say, me and my brothers here, we say, hey, I got your six, or hey, till Valhalla, meaning, hey, we think there's a special place for us when we pass, and we'll all be together. And y'all don't even have to worry about seeing us and ruining your party. We'll ruin our own, right? So Donald Trump on Inauguration Day, what the whole world, now this wasn't just the United States, what the whole world thought they witnessed. You know, that's why military law, regulations, orders, and symbolizations. When I say symbols, symbolizations, not just optics, but symbolizations mean something to all of us who have served because of our foundation. So at Joint Base Andrews on January the 20th, 2021, not 2017, but 2021, when you go look at the film, like I say, I tell everybody, go look at it and take notes of what I'm saying to you. Okay. He exited Marine One on a red carpet rollout. The Marines have what on? Dress blue Charlies, not what these trolls had on a few weeks ago in Kentucky with the puppet. Okay. Air Force flight suits with a patrol cap. Get out of here. Okay. So just things like that. He exited Marine One on a red carpet rollout, which is high honor, royalty. Okay. And on the fourth ruffle, bump a bomb, bump a bomb, bump a bomb, bump a bomb. When Hail to the Chief starts playing on the fourth ruffle, not the third, the second, and the first, but on the fourth ruffle, the 21 gun salute is supposed to start. That's how particular the military is. You witness all of that day with President Trump at Joint Base Andrews. And he didn't, when you know, people say, well, why did they said he left DC. Well, he left just like he's always left DC. He had access to Air Force One, and both Air Force Ones. There's not just one Air Force One. There's two of them. Both of them. I got the picture of it in my documents. Both Air Force Ones are at Joint Base Andrews. If Joe Biden is really Joe Biden, 81 million votes sitting in his basement. For all you know, I don't even have my pants on right now. That'd be like me sitting right here without my pants on and winning 81 million votes. All right, the most vote, and he can't even get a ride on Air Force One. There you go, right there. So roll over to what the world was watching, and I imagine that little girl that was crying a while ago over these guys rolling down the streets, patriots like us. I guess she was probably doing the little, you know, finally a president who will speak to us with some manners and not make fun of people, you know, like that, you know. So what the world thought they saw, guys like me are going over there going, non-regulation uniforms all around Biden. Those were non-regulation uniforms. Some of them were regulations, but they ain't been in service for years. Like on CBS website now, CBS's inauguration website, they have a Marine in BDUs now. BDUs, okay? They ain't been in the Marines since 2005, the BDUs. I mean, we're talking about 17 years ago. All right, so there was an opted. All the other soldiers around him, non-regulation uniform, non-regulation uniform. Okay, then you witness him raise his right hand. All right, look at the timestamp. Timestamps are always important in everything. 11:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, he took the oath of office. Okay, according to the 20th Amendment of the Constitution of America, the president's term is to end and begin at noon. Okay, well, he violated the Constitution already right there. And then when they walked out the Capitol building, he walks down the steps. All right, there's a band coming by. Well, you had to be listening, very keen. I had a guy write me the other day and said he was played Hail to the Chief. No, he wasn't. After the fourth ruffle, they played another song. I'll bring it back up in a minute. Okay, so then they put him in a motorcade, and it looked just like if you've ever been in the South, we know how to throw a funeral. Okay, so it looked just like a funeral procession. And there's one thing all these guys right here will tell you: it don't matter who you serve under. It does not matter, because when you raise your right hand, it says, I will obey the orders of the president and the officers appointed over me, just like he showed you that chain of command a while ago. None of those soldiers, as that funeral procession went through, as that motorcade went through, none of those soldiers saluted that vehicle. Okay, that is a no-no. Even I served up under Obama. I didn't agree with him, didn't agree with his policies. I didn't vote for him. But I saluted the guy because it's a respect of the office. It has nothing to do with the individual. Okay, so none of those soldiers saluted him, and many of them turned their back on him. They go down to the unknown soldier. To me, this is where I have to switch and get really serious. To me, it was stolen valor in a different kind of way. Even though we traditionally think of stolen valor as someone in a uniform who are putting insignia on that they didn't really earn and didn't have, but to me, they were using this as Biden desecrating the grave of the unknown soldier. Okay, you had to be watching that day, and you had to pause, rewind, pause, rewind, because it was a 9-hour service. So on YouTube, it's very difficult to make it rewind. You have to rewind and watch a long segment in order to get back to the little spot you were at. They did that very well. Okay, so when you couldn't see, you had to be able to hear. But then they were tricky with the audio, because I was like, man, it got real faint. Okay, so a 3-volley salute. There were 3 pieces of artillery. They call that a 3-volley, like volleyball, VOLLEY, 3-volley salute. 3 pieces of artillery, 2 for firing and 1 for misfire. Okay, so the camera was very tricky that day. It was all optics, because they were counting on people like you not listening. Okay, 13 rounds. It was not a salute. The only salute is a 21-gun salute, which is when a president is inaugurated or when one of us dies. Okay, 21-gun salute. It was a 13-round fire. They call it a 13-gun round fire. When you go to the chart for round fires, it's 21 salute. Then you have 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, and a few others under that. 13. It was 13 rounds fired. Okay, so then when you look out to the column to the 13, you have 2 little slots there, Rear Admiral and a Major General. Well, we know he wasn't in the military. Okay, so, and the other thing, here's the troll movement here. Okay, when you look over to the right of that, you see 2 more columns. What song was played for him? Go back to the Capitol building. The fourth ruffle, after the fourth ruffle, they played Honors March 1. Okay, well, Rear Admiral and a Major General, they get played Honors March 2, 3, and 4. All right, so that rule right there. Well, guess what the song was for? Honors March 1 is for a minister resident, which is someone who takes up permanent residence in a foreign territory. What did we define earlier in the show? What is DC? The District of Columbia. It has its own seal. It has its own law. It has its own corporation. Okay, so a foreign territory. Joe Biden is a minister resident in a foreign territory. All right, so he got a full grade military funeral service.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. All right. Sheepdog, you got your closing thoughts, sir?
I just want to thank your parents for putting up with your crap, and now you got a platform that you can vent on at any given moment. You can pick up your phone and let the world know how you feel. And I wish you the best. And I know that you were called to be here at such time. And thank you for answering the call. Again, I want to thank your parents.
Well, thank you. I'm trying not to tear up right now, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sheepdog. I am your closing thoughts, sir.
Yeah, would you share my screen? All right. You are here. DOJ, FBI, rhinos, IRS, mainstream media, Democrats. Okay. And the second one, so it begins. Okay. And I want to go back to what Derek is saying about the White House and President Trump. The military has a way to reconcile this situation. It's called the Law of War Manual. Okay. And it is for a situation such as this. And thank goodness to our founding fathers and the generals and stuff before us that wrote the Law of War Manual. Okay. But the Law of War Manual deals with a foreign occupied entity in our government. So we rest assured, even though what Derek's saying, we have a remedy to all this. So we've always had it. It's been here. And we even have remedies moving forward because we built the foundations for our new constitution and our new government and our new way of life moving forward. Okay. So that's my closing statement. And thank you, Derek, for being here. What a wonderful guest.
Well, thank you for having me again. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Tracy, you got a closing statement since you're up here with us tonight?
Yes, sir, I do.
I want to give a big shout out to Tracy because she jumped on getting a hold of Derek before we could, which was in our benefit because she helped facilitate Derek being on our show. So thank you, Tracy, for your hard work and your due diligence and getting the night to happen.
You're welcome. But yes, I want to say thank you to God because He's the reason that I saw the video that Derek posted. Somebody said, wow, you've got to see this guy. And I thought, who is this? I clicked on him, and then within 5 minutes, I was sending it to Mike saying, you've got to see this guy. He knows his stuff. So it was God that brought me to him. And it's like I told him earlier, God has put him in this position to help us put the pieces together and open eyes that haven't been open. And I just want to say thank you, Derek. And I consider you a friend after the last few days of talking to you. And it is absolutely just humbling to me that you're here and that I helped to be a part of it. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. The show was amazing and you're going to do wonderful things.
Well, that's hard to come back after that. It's an honor to be here. Like I said, I'm truly humbled. I wish people could just feel my heartbeat right now. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. Thank you guys. I see all the comments over there too. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I won't let you down. So
cool. Well, Derek, I'd like to extend a invitation. You're welcome here anytime. I'd love to talk tomorrow after you talk to your team about tonight's experience, and maybe talk tomorrow about maybe doing it every Monday or however often you want.
I mean,
okay, because we'd love to have you.
I just As long as you don't ever get tired of me ranting and raving, so.
Listen, Derek, the first time I did a live, okay. Now I had done marketing lives plenty of times. I've taught people how to market on the internet. I've taught people how to sell things on the internet. That was my gig with Facebook before all this started. All right. And I got cancer. Okay. A little backstory. I got cancer. And I noticed all the things going on that was surrounding the Obama administration, his two presidencies. Got real curious if it was going to get taken any further or just swept under the rug like it always had been. And I started doing the research. And, I said, well, shoot, I need to get this word out to people. And it was just me talking to myself at first, and then I get stronger and stronger unctions. And I didn't realize at first that it was God that was pushing me to start putting these words out. And so I don't know my first Facebook Live, Derek, and I just kind of stared at the screen the first 5 to 10 minutes because I didn't really know what to say. And I said, well, maybe God will help me with what I need to say. And I said a prayer. And as soon as I said a prayer, I had more than 3 people on after that. And I haven't been able to shut up since. Okay. So I know exactly how you feel. Okay.
Definitely. Well, maybe I can announce here though. I did start a page. I forgot to say that earlier. It's just at 1776 Nation. That way everybody can go there and then channel your emails through that. I don't know how that handle was available except for God, but that's pretty cool. It's on Facebook. I'm gonna troll Facebook as long as I can since I'm officially blurred out in my videos. People know it's real, so we're telling the truth. But at 1776 Nation is so www.facebook.com/1776 Nation. So that's where we're gonna start. I'm gonna start going live. That way they don't blur me out. Hopefully, I think they'll blur you if you're on your own personal, like over a business page. But we'll see. We'll find out.
They'll do both. Don't worry. We're broadcasting on both tonight. I'm surprised the motivational video didn't get us taken down. Usually the music will get us taken down. But
well, I shortened it up so I defeated their algorithms.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, but Facebook's not going to be around that much longer. So just rest assured, you have a platform here, sir.
Well, I'm gonna troll them as long as I can. It's just like that's the plan. I told someone the other day. I heard some people talking about you and different people, and I said, look, a bunch of trolls. I said the trolls don't mess with the wrong guy. I can guarantee you right now, I can out troll a troll because I am a troll. So but I'm a good troll. So I'm one of those like you don't mess with the wrong guy. So I'm gonna bring it every day. So
sweet. All right. Cool. So, my closing thoughts are this. With the breath of fresh air that Derek has brought aboard, he's helped a lot of people connect the dots in the way he comes across in his delivery. And you can definitely feel his heart and his passion, and you can definitely tell that he's led by God. Tammy, we'll get in touch with Chaz and we'll connect the 2 of them, yes. But you can definitely tell Derek is led by God, and he has a soft spot in his heart for his mom as well. So that makes him a good old boy, just like the rest of us. Down home, humbled country boy that wants to, to better serve his country and his country to better serve him as well. And in order to do that, we have to get the word out about the evil. It's got to go. And these tyrannical government and the child sex trafficking and all of that stuff comes into play, and he ain't afraid to stand up and fight. And we're not afraid to stand shoulder to shoulder with him and fight as well. With that being said, guys, I'd ask everybody to bow your heads. Okay, let's cut out the chat for a second, and we're going to have a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the opportunity to have a breath of fresh air, Father, that was led by you and Derek Johnson. we ask that, Father, that you pour the blood of the Lamb out over Derek and extend the continuation of his safety and his livelihood and his health as he's joined this movement in a big time way, Father. And we know that it is anointed by you, Father, and that he's here for a reason, and he's here to help, and we're here to help him. Father, we thank you for the light and the love that you have shined through Derek and in his message, and we thank you for the opportunity to share ours as well. Father, we also thank you for the blood of the Lamb that's been poured out over President Trump in this land and all patriots across the country and the world. That protection is much needed still, Father, as is your healing hand, Father. And we know that your healing hand is coming across. Your masterful healing hand is coming across each and every day. We see it, we hear about it, and we raise you up in all the glory of it, Father. We also raise you up in all the glory of the spiritual battles that have been won, Father, and are going to continue to be won. Father, we thank you for the love and the light and the grace and the mercy that you bestowed upon each and every one of us, and our ability to see you at work in this great spiritual battle. Father, we know that you win, and we raise you up in that glory, and we thank you for the courage for us to be able to witness and testify to the things that we saw when we took part in along this journey and this movement. Hundreds of years from now, Father, they'll be talking about us because of you and your leadership and your love and your light that brought us through the darkness. Father, thank you for taking the darkness away from the earth and its people, and allowing 1,000 years of peace to come about very soon. We know that it is very near, Father, and we ask that you continue to stamp the hearts across the world of all patriots with love and light and courage to withstand the battle. Father, we thank you and ask all these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
Mike.
Amen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for trusting us with about 2 hours and 15 minutes or so of your time. It is always a great, great pleasure to come here each and every night, Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, and have you join us in the chat and, just listen and ask questions and put your input in as well. It's very warranted, and thank you for all the feedback that we get. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at 9. If anything starts popping off, rest assured we'll come on early and do a special report or something like that, depending on what's going on. It's heating up, ladies and gentlemen. Put on your seatbelts. Grab the person next to you. Say hello to your neighbor. Tell everybody you love them, and let's help one another get through this. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
We go one, we go all.
Good night, everybody.